Hello everyone, this is your friend Shinobi Nexus 2.0 and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if Dark King Naruto has a harem of extreme hot say why all beautiful women, part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Konohagakure, the largest city of the Fire Nation, home to many great shinobi since its foundation. Its leader known as the Hokage, of which there have been 4 in its history. Konoha resides deep within a forest at the base of a mountain known as the Hokage Rock, which has the faces of all those who have taken the office of Hokage engraved on it. While generally seen as the most powerful of the ninja villages, Konoha has enjoyed many years of relative peace and stability. However, except for one teen. Hey, look at that boy. A young woman said as she spoke to another housewife. The dark-haired Uzumaki. I feel so bad for him. The rumors say that he is a bastard child of an Uchiha. I heard that he is Kyuubi reborn as a human. Shish. Don't let him hear you. The black-haired boy ignored the gossip of the villagers as he kept walking on his way towards wherever he was. Today was nothing special, and it's certainly not going to be last. The boy had dark spiky hair, was short, wearing a black and gray jacket over a white t-shirt that had a black swirling pattern on it. He also wore tan long cargo pants and beige sandals. His skin was pearly white with no sign of imperfection. His body was lean and light compared to those of shinobi, showing he was a regular civilian, although he was taller than the average 15-year-old. His face was something very amazing. It looked like something that angels craved out with the utmost care. Uzumaki. The boy looked up to see a dark-haired man with low ponytail. Good to see you. He smiled at the boy. The young Uzumaki eyes looked at Itachi, who was wearing a black shirt with the Uchiha symbol and black shinobi pants. He was probably a year or two older than the Uzumaki. The boy looked at Itachi's onyx-colored eyes that held kindness and respect for him, and his hair was straight. Itachi-san, he said with a slightly confused look, I thought your mother was going to pick up Sasuke. She was, but then something came up and she asked me to do it in her place. Itachi answered, I'm guessing you're here to pick up your sisters. Yeah, how have you been since we last met? The Uchiha asked as he leaned next to Naruto at the wall. Meh, normal as always, people talking about me as usual, just another day. Naruto shrugged. Good for you, Naruto-kun. He said, punching his shoulder playfully. In a serious note, have the villagers attacked you lately? Itachi whispered softly to make sure no one heard him. No, they actually stay away from me. You shouldn't have lied saying you have the Kyuubi seal in you, your sisters are the ones. Itachi sighed, I hear a lot of plans to attack in the bars around here. Seriously. What a pain in the neck, Naruto sighed softly. Why did you do it? The experienced shinobi said, it's not like your sisters are happy that you did it for them. But now you have nearly everyone angry towards you. I know, Naruto sighed again. But if I didn't they would find ways to harm them. I care too much for them to even get a scratch. I know you do. Despite them still not taking a liking to you at all. Itachi said. Naruto smiled softly as he shrugs, who knew that they hated me being a nonviolent person so much. That's not your fault. You're a kind person at heart. Thanks, the dark-haired boy said as he notices children leaving the school. I guess the academy is done. Yeah, I'll see you around, Itachi said, before he stood up to fetch Sasuke. Naruto smiled before he saw 2 twin girls walking towards him. The first girl was beautiful and slender with long light blonde hair and dark blue eyes. She wore a white uniform that looked like something from military with white long pants and white high heels. This was Yuki Uzumaki, the oldest of the twins. And the other was a complete opposite, having long scarlet red hair and brown eyes. She wore a white sundress with a blue ribbon on the chest, wearing brown shoes. She had a sharp look in her amethyst-colored eyes. This young lady is Yuna Uzumaki. The twins nearly looked identical save for Yuki's long eyelashes, same white porcelain color skin and face structure. Yuki, Yuna, how was class today? Naruto said, walking to them, only to be ignored as they walked past him. Naruto sighed softly, rubbing the back of his head. Girls, wait. The blue-haired girl sighed as she looks at the other girl. Yuna, why are we letting him pick us up again? Blame mom and dad. The red-haired girl sighed. I mean, it's not like he's our babysitter or anything. Girls. Naruto sighed, finally catching up to them. Ha, ha, please talk to me. The girls scoffed as they continued to walk away from Naruto and towards their house. Naruto smiled softly, at least they were close. They really have a lot of energy today. He said to himself. Kinda regret not being a shinobi, he wheezed out. After a few minutes of running, they eventually reached their home. As the girls entered the household, we're back. Welcome home, a kind older woman's voice said. The woman in question also had long red hair and her name was Kushina Uzumaki. She wore a green dress over a white button shirt and wore sand-colored sandals. She had same skin color as her daughters along with same eye color as Yuna. Mom, the twins said before plopping on the couch, when's dinner? Before she can answer Naruto the house with a neutral look. Mother, he bowed respectfully, good afternoon. Hello. Naruto. Kushina's smile was a bit strained, but nonetheless greeted him. Dinner will be ready soon. And thanks for taking them home. They are my sisters, of course I would. We don't care, the girls sighed listening to him drone on. I'll be at my room. Naruto said as he walked away as he felt out of place in the home. Once he got to his room, he closed the door and plopped onto his bed. Just what is wrong with me today? He groaned. Naruto was the perfect definition of what you would call a black sheep. And the black hair he had certainly didn't help either. He was born into a family of shinobi, but he has deep loathing for killing and secrets. Because of that, most if not all of Konohagakure shunned him, even his entire family had forsaken him. His father barely comes home, but at least they are in somewhat friendly terms. His mother is always afraid of him giving her lack of interest and physical contact, and his sisters just straight up dislike him. He was alone. Well, except for a few others like Itachi, who was a friend with Naruto since he can remember, and also the old man. Sarutobi. I miss him. Naruto remembered that when his sisters were born nearly a decade ago, some masked man attacked his mother and father. The Kyuubi was unleashed and one man sacrificed himself to save his parents from death. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. I guess I really am alone in this world, he muttered, staring blankly at the ceiling. Closing his eyes, Naruto let sleep take him so he can continue this days of being hated. Line break. Naruto stirred in his sleep until his eyes shot open. Something's wrong. He whispered before leaving his room and felt the air enter the house. Looking at an open window, Naruto eyes widen. It's the summer, but Yuki has a cooler in her room. The girls. He cried, rushing to his sister's shared room to see that they weren't in there. Shoot. Where are they? He panicked, before closing his eyes as they became cold. Think. That's right, those cloud ninjas came. They were after Mother's Uzumaki's bloodline and they were trying to get the Hyugas as well. He calculated before sighing, I have to get them before they move to the Valley of the End. Naruto declared, rushing throughout the window to leave the village's west gate. I just pray I make in time. The black-haired teen just ran with the speed to match a Jonin surprisingly as he just ran past the gate and headed to the forest. Come on, where are you? Naruto gritted. Got that, heiress. Naruto suddenly rolled into a bush as he heard a new voice near his location. Keep quiet, he moved to see three males with Kumo headband. Yeah, this brat was nearly the reason I got caught, she kept on crying. The man said, holding an unconscious blue-haired girl. That's the Hyuga heiress I've been hearing about, Naruto thought, remembering seeing her in clan parties. Hinata, I think her name was. Who those brats? The man said. The two others chuckled. Uzumaki's, you know how the old rakage wanted some Uzumaki bitch. Now we got two for the price of one. He said as Naruto growled at the thought of them using his sisters in such a way. Keep calm, he thought before noticing the man sighing. Should we have some? Fun, with them. Another asked. Can't. You know that if the Raikage hears about that we're dead, he isn't like his old man. He has some good intentions. Ugh, fine you buzzkill. He groaned. Alright, where's the route? The second man replied. I rather leave before any of the Hyugas or Kami forbid the Hokage finds out about this. We're heading towards the end of the forest. Got you. Naruto thought as he slipped away, fighting them would be foolish, but fighting them where he can make an advantage is better. Almost like a smoke, he vanished without a trace. Line break. God, I hate nature. The Kumo shinobi growled. There, look, another freakin' tree. Get used to it. Another growled. Wanna play I Spy? Then let's play. I spy with my little eyes a freakin' tree. You dude. The first guy screamed. Enough. You know, it's sad to know the three idiots pulled off a kidnapping, a voice echoed the forest loudly. Who's there? The first ninja demanded. Show yourself. The second ordered. Life works in mysterious ways. Your choices clearly led you here, as have mine, but I do not hate you for it, so I will give you a new choice. Leave here and the girl so you can live, or stay and face your consequences. What the hell are you spouting now? The voice sighed heavily before he spoke once more. I guess you are staying. Well then, in that case. ***. One of the ninja's throats suddenly got slit before falling to the ground. Before a cloak figure caught one of the sisters and hid into the bush. Where did he? The remaining members said before a spear came from the sky and stabbed the other man, ending his life. And like before, another, the last sister was caught in midair as it hid into the forest once more. This. The man screamed in fear, running out of the forest to see a cliff. What? I thought, how did I? Going somewhere? The voice asked. From out of nowhere, an axe came flying in and it hit the ninja straight on his head. Gah, the man said as he dropped the arrows. How did he? Was all he could say before dying. To quote someone, luck favors the prepared, Naruto said, walking to Hinata. My lady, are you okay? He said, lightly shaking the girl. Please wake up, but she didn't respond. Huh, she's out cold. Please forgive me, he said before raising his hand and moving so she was on his knee. Smack. Asterisk. Kyaaaaaaaaaaa. And slapped her rear end. Ah, you're awake, he said with a small smile. Glad to see you're fine. What happened? Where am Naruto-kun? You know me, he said with tilt of his head, not noticing the red blush on the girl's face. Oh dear, I guess you're getting a fever. Setting her down, Naruto stood up to dig his pockets. I'm pretty sure, I keep a soldier pill around here. Freeze. The boy head turns to see three black-cloaked Anbu. Smiling softly, he reached for Hinata's collar to get her up. Don't move, he said as the girl looked frightened at the new people. I said freeze. The leader shouted as Naruto turned his back. Sorry. No can do. He said, turning back to Hinata to pull out his pill so she can break her fever. Splash. Huh. The dark-haired boy said, looking at his hand to see a kunai dug deep inside, causing his blood to spill. What? Shaking, he turned to the Anbu once more to see one rushing towards him and. Whoa, hey, what are you doing? I'm on your side. I ain't some newbie genin punk. The man said, kicking Naruto out from the cliff. Naruto. Hinata screamed as the highly trained shinobi gasped at the person they killed was smiling. To Naruto, he saw his sisters just barely within eyesight, abhorred at the sight of him falling to the river. At least, they're safe, Naruto thought happily before closing his eyes. No. The twins screamed, rushing to the edge. Yuna desperately moved towards the edge, reaching out hoping to grab him, until the three Anbu members pulled her away. Let me go. Go. I can save him. Lady Yuna. He's dead, the man said with a soft shaking voice. However, Yuki glared at him. You killed him. She screamed, punching him with all her might. You killed him. You killed him. The words repeated with each punch, slowly becoming sloppy and less powerful. You killed him. I'm so sorry, the man said. Taicho, what should we tell the Hokage? A cat-masked Anbu asked. Go, I'll look for a bit, the man said as the others left taking a shock Hinata and angry twins away. He took his weasel mask off, to show tears flowing down. Naruto, I'm so sorry, he whispered, I didn't think my eyesight was that bad to be unable to see my friend. Line break. Darkness. It was all he could see. When one is enveloped by said darkness, everything is obscured, especially sight. He can only rely on his other senses, his hearing being the next best thing, touch being the third, while smell and taste have little to no relevance. Well, looks like we got a new patient. Naruto's muddled mind was able to hear that, but unfortunately he couldn't do anything, until he felt being lifted up. What should we do with this one? He's fresh off the outside world, I say we start cutting him up, slowly. Are you stupid? We're nearly out of male guests. We can't kill him off that quickly or our little business won't pay off. Oh fine, you buzzkill, what do you think we should do with him, sensei? What else? This kid might be messed up in his head. It's our duty to nurse him until he is proper member of society. Naruto could almost swore that last statement was a lie. Bo, ring, I want to use my special medicine on him now. Hey. Who says you can't? Maybe they calm him down hey. Can't. Stay. Awake, Naruto thought tiredly as he drifted away once more. Line break. You. Naruto groaned as he was slowly coming to, the vision of his eyes starting to clear. Ah, I'm so glad you're fine. A kind voice said as Naruto's eyes saw a white room with a lone woman sitting on a chair. Hello, she said with sweet smile. Who are you? The black-haired teen said, feeling his dry mouth. Why do I feel so tired? The woman gave a small frown. You were having an episode again, and we had to sedate you. Don't you remember? An episode? I don't remember. Naruto tried to recall, but his head throbbed. Erg. No, I was saving my sisters, they were kidnapped, the Hyuga heiress by the Cloud Ninja. Naruto, the doctor said as if being kindly stern, we talked about this, they died, your sisters were killed by your parents. No, they were loved, the blonde said softly, slowly feeling more clear-headed. They didn't die. I know that didn't happen. Sweetie, I know it's hard to accept the truth. The doctor said, walking towards Naruto. But, you killed your parents and you came here to get better. Remember? What? Naruto said, before shaking his head. No, you lie, that didn't happen at all. The doctor slowly glared before returning to her old smile. Okay, how about this? I'll give you another sedative and we'll talk about this one more time. She said, pulling out a needle. No, Naruto shouted before he shot out of the chair and tried to escape. Guards. As Naruto opened the door, two large men wearing white shirts held him down. I have to return, I need to know my sisters are okay. Poor baby, the doctor said as she injected the drug into his neck. Don't worry, you won't remember them soon enough. Okay, let's try this again. For a kid, this brat is hard to manipulate. Naruto, in his slowly receding mind, let a tear out. I want to go home. Line break. 2 years later. Line break. Naruto was sitting in a lounge chair as he looked at Tsukihime, his therapist, and, I don't have anything wrong with me. The boy was now 17 and wore a white patient gown. He now had longer hair that was tied up into a long ponytail. The doctor nodded. Yes, as soon as you take your meds and listen to us, you can be free. She said softly. How long? He asked, looking at the doctor. She had light blue hair that stopped at the middle of her back, wearing a standard doctor's white lab coat over a blue shirt and brown pants. Well, that depends. You haven't taken your meds and your episodes aren't helping. The doctor said behind her clipboard with a dark smirk. Or ever. But, you said there's nothing wrong with me. Why yes, but you're still easily quick to anger. We can't have you leave like that, the doctor lied as she undoes some buttons on her shirt to show some cleavage. Besides, don't you like talking to me? Naruto trailed off, as he slightly blushed and gulped, before looking away. Good, So now, Naruto, the doctor started to move towards him to massage his shoulders. It's okay to feel sad, I know a way to make you feel better. And no, I shouldn't take advantage of you. Who's going to tell? The woman said, kissing Naruto, who slowly started to get into it. Here you go, Uzumaki-san. The black-haired boy suddenly pushed the woman, when he saw the image of a short-haired hair girl with lavender eyes. My head, he groaned out as he tried to say something. Hinata, she was a friend with my sisters, but she was 8 when she became friends with them. If my parents killed my sisters when I was, the timeline you said is wrong. TCH, guards. The woman growled as 2 huge mooks came into the room. I tried to give you pleasure, brat, but it looks like your obsession is making you too difficult to get into the mood. No, stop. Get away from me, he shouted before he made a dart for the door, but the 2 mooks held him back from escaping. You know what? I'll give his meds, maybe this time you'll listen to me. Tsukihime said as she readied a needle. Now hold still and I'll take care of everything. No, stop. No, Naruto yelled as he saw the needle. Wham! My nose. The doctor said as she held her bleeding nose, you little The young male kicks the groin of the person who held him as he got on the ground. I got to leave. Stop him. You're not taking me alive. Naruto shouted before he ran and escaped the room. Don't just stand there, you dolts. After him. The doctor shouted. Line break. The blonde-haired boy ran as fast as she could. He didn't care if his legs ached badly. He didn't care if he tripped along the way. All he cared about was getting out of this insane asylum. Gah! The blonde cried as he was tackled from his left side, before being held down. I don't want to stay. I want to go outside. You can't just stay still, can you? The doctor said as she approached them. No, please, leave me alone, I want to go home. Naruto cried. No, send him to female wards. Another doctor said with a smirk, as the others seemed shocked. You're sending him to those girls? One asked. And why not? If my charm can't work, maybe theirs can. They'll kill him. Another doctor said, we can't send him to his death just to scare him. Oh, what could possibly go wrong? She said, before inserting a sedative into his neck, and Naruto passed out again. Line break. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes, seeing that he was in another room and was strapped onto a gurney. No, let me go. Where am I? A doctor came up to his site. Since you're not playing ball, we're going to make things more fun. Ever heard of Dante of the Forest or Mukuro the Wolf, those killers in the Fire Country? Yeah, we have them here. What? Naruto stuttered, now fearing for his life. Oh, I guess you heard of them before coming. Not just them, we have a woman who killed nearly 5 villages when a boyfriend betrayed her. The doctor smiled before smashing his fist on Naruto's face. Gah, hey, that feels good. The man said as they reached a large vault door. And here we are. No, 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 Naruto whimpered. Please, no. The guard, who were all armored, walked to the doctor. Sir, the camera shows Dante as waiting at the other side, what should we do? Send our patient in. The doctor smirked. Sir, I should advise that, the guard said, Dante can kill us all with her weird voodoo magic. She's just a woman. The doctor yelled. But, send him in there. Why yes sir. The guard said, before looking to his fellow guard. Oh, open the door. But Kato, the guard said, she'll kill us. Open enough for us to throw the boy, not all the way. The men looked at each other as one went to the controls and activated it. Opening now. How's Dante's location? She's noticing that the door is opening. Another guard said. Wait, she's clapping. Shit, close the door and leave. The leader of the mooks yelled as the doctor yelled. No. What? Throw the boy in there. You kill us all. Do it. Do it now. The mooks looked at each other before they grabbed the gurney and rolled it into the room where Dante resided. Clap. Splat. Before anyone can close the door, a stone rod was pierced into the doctor's skull. Close the door. The guards did so as one destroyed the controls and they all ran as Naruto was left inside of the closed door on the other side. No, please, no, Naruto sobbed. Let me out, let me out. But he froze in his spot as footsteps were coming towards him, and it was just the woman he heard about. There's more than one pair of feet. What's this? A smooth female voice cut through the steps. A new doll for me. An angelic voice said sweetly as few others' voices started murmuring. He looks cute, a young playful voice said. What the? Naruto got out. Who are you all? Before he said anything, one woman was in his view. She wore a white lab coat over a black shirt and dark skirt. She was a young woman in her 20s with brown hair in somewhat bob hair cut whose fringe was cut neatly in a straight line in even sections and her hair fell just to her shoulders. She had light, pale purple-colored eyes and her skin tone was slightly pale version of pearl. Naruto blushed at her large perky C-cups lending down to hourglass figure. The beauty of a woman smiled. You have our eyes, you weren't loved, you were betrayed. Wah. Naruto got out. Dante lifted her hands and ceremoniously clapped them as blue lightning danced around her hands, then touched the gurney as Naruto felt the straps melting off his hand, but it didn't hurt him, as he was able to sit up. Why are you? Come now, don't be afraid. Dantered. The young boy slowly reached out before Dante grabbed his hand to hug him. It's okay. Quote! Let it out, I won't judge you. Naruto right then and there broke down into tears as he sobbed in her embrace. Dante smiled sweetly as did the other women in the room as they made Naruto what his previous life couldn't give him, love. Line break. 3 months later. Line break. Ah. Naruto woke up in his cell as he stretched out. What a good sleep. Naruto looked down to see Dante who was still sleeping. Smiling softly at her cute look, he brushed off a loose piece of hair from her face. The blonde moved silently from the bed as he lifted the blanket to Dante's frame. He grabbed a pair of black training shorts and black training shirt. Finally he put on a red coat over his body. He smiled, as he looked at the mirror that showed black snake crawling around a cross. Flammel, the symbol of alchemy. He walked away from the cell as he entered the hallway. Hey Nina. Almost like magic, a red-haired girl suddenly appeared in front of Naruto. Oni-sama. She said with a sweet tone. You miss me? Naruto said, patting her head affectionately as the red-haired girl blushed as she laid her head on his chest. He looked at the young girl's attire, which was a very tight sports bra with orange lining, with matching white shorts with the same orange lining with high-knee white heels. Her hair was the most attractive part of her. It was red that fell to her shoulders. It was messy too and sported a small ponytail on one side. In short, she was perfect bombshell of a woman. She had golden-colored eyes that held huge amount of desire for Naruto. She skin was perfect shade of ivory given how little to no imperfections are on her. She was probably at 18 given her height, which only reaches Naruto's neck. He felt Nena's large D cups pressing against him and feeling her slim hips with his hands. Of course I do. Nina smiled. I want my Oni-sama to me to his heart's content. Already? This early? Naruto chuckled, ruffling the girl's hair as she pouted. But you and Dante have been going at it since yesterday. She cried as Naruto just smiled at her. Nina, that was a special reason. He said before leaning in. I don't want to make you stupid when I make you come a million times when the plan is almost here. He said seductively before giving a warm smile. I need you at your best. But I need you to fill me. Nina whined as the boy kisses her forehead. Oh fair. How about after the plan? Then maybe. But that's so long, Nina cried, not even a quickie. You said that last time, and we spent the whole week in bed. A lot of the girls didn't appreciate it. Nina pouted. Not even a blowjob, she hoped. No. Naruto deadpanned. Then why did you call me? Nina asked as she stopped when noticing Naruto's serious face. Sorry, why? Do you have the thing working right? He asked as the girl nodded with a confident smile. Yes, My machine can shut the systems down. What about the girls? Naruto asked as the red-haired girl shook her head. Just finished tweaking it, they won't be affected. Nina said as she gave a sultry smile. Aren't you proud of your little sister for doing it so right? Yeah, yeah. Naruto said, okay, since you've done such a good job, maybe I'll give you a fingering. Oh, Nina moaned in appreciation, but Naruto. The boy was glomped before his hand can reach Nena's skirt, Shenhua. Naruto said as the young woman who caresses him into her bosom hugged him. The dark-haired teen looked up to see a very attractive woman in her 30s. She wears a rose Chinese cheongsam that showed her legs, along with a white jacket. She had long black hair going down past her buttocks, with a stripe holding throwing knives on both legs. She also had part of her hair on the right side of her face. On top of all of this, she also wore two long, red, tassel-like earrings on both ears. And had red painted fingernails and lipstick that matched well with her dark teal-eye color. Naruto blushed slightly when noticing that the dress slits were longer than normal, easily showing her round and delicious, complemented with the black G-string she had on. It also helped with her large DDS as well, making her body many would want to sleep with. Come on, when it my turn? Shenhua asked huskily. I know you wanna on these. Shenhua, it's my turn. Nina pouted. Oh, is cherry girl. Shenhua said with a smirk as Nina growled at the woman. Oi, Shenhua, be nice. Naruto chided. Soar why? The woman said with a heavy accent as Nina rolled her eyes at the woman way of dodging the order. Never mind her Oni-san. Nina said, moving to Naruto's left side, touching his hand to lead downward. Come on, make me scream. I no can do kitty. The twins want to speak to him, quickly now. The woman said, taking Naruto away and quickly running away. Nina whined before throwing a temper tantrum. Line break. Naruto eyes rolled around comically as he glared at Shenhua. Love, I know that you like twirling, but did you have to do it when holding me? Why not? Shenhua asked, oh so innocently. You know why. Naruto glared again. Oh, don't be such piss. Naruto. The two heads look up to see two beautiful women, one wearing a gothic Lolita outfit that barely covered the lower front, which showed why black panties with golden long hair, and another with long shaggy pink hair wearing black tight leather pants and wore a black leather bra. Also she wore pink short that were more like underwear they were over her black panties. Margaret Moonlight and Alice Twilight. Naruto said lovingly as he gained a pink blush on his face. Hey there love. Margaret cooed. Want me to sing you a loving melody? Or do you want us to really hit the high notes? Alice giggled. Because I can build something that can make us scream while you take us. Naruto blushed harder as he licked his lips, but reined in his lust. Later perhaps, but what do you need? The girls nodded to each other. We find the ruins, but are you sure that you want us to leave here? Alice started taking a seat on a broken desk. Of course I do. Naruto nodded. You girls have been sticking with me for 3 months, ever since I met you all. The least I could do is this. My lovely hero, Margaret started, you already saved us, and we gave you our love, in more ways than one. Alice nodded blushing. Yes, but if the plan goes through, we won't come back, there's no return. We're fine, we have no one anymore, but if we lose you, she stopped, unable to finish her word as Margaret and Shenhua looked down in fear. Girls, Naruto muttered. Sorry, we won't go against you. Alice said after wiping her eyes. Just are you sure? Naruto nodded. I want a home for us, as long as we stay here we won't have true freedom. You won't be able to build things, Alice and Margaret, you can't sing properly if you continue to take those drugs the doctors give you. I won't let them take your gifts away. I want you all to be free. Naruto, the girls muttered. And, once we get out of here, we'll find an uninhabited island to call home, and I want all of you to bear my kids. The girls blushed red at the announcement as Alice and Margaret squeezed their bodies to Naruto's. How about we start now? Alice sweetly said as she nibbled Naruto's ear. Girl, MMH, Naruto groaned softly. Not now, I need to check the other girls to make sure that today is day to leave. Oh pooh, Margaret pouted. Oh well, I need to double check the machines anyway, Alice said with a sigh, before leaning in. I working on something that I will use when you take me at last. MMH, I can't wait, Naruto said kindly kissing her lips. The boy stopped suddenly before getting a blank face. Shit, I gotta leave. Naruto cried, leaving the room with a rush. Aiya, why he leaves like that? Shenhua said as Alice shrugs. Maybe the girls are calling him. Line break. Naruto kick opened the door to see a room with girl in a glass box. She was a young girl with long brown hair that fell to her waist and has red eyes, and wearing a red dress that covered her entire body. Alma, are you okay? He asked before wincing. It's getting hot. Quickly he went to the glass tomb to see some buttons and press them. Better. Yes. Thank you. My pleasure. Don't worry, we found the medicine to wake you up and we're leaving today if everyone is ready. Naruto said, touching the glass. I'm so happy, I can touch you with my real hands, not in a dream anymore. Naruto smiled sweetly as he leaned in. Alma, we'll be together soon. Oh my god, are you still talking to that veggie? Naruto growled as he turned to see a blonde-haired girl wearing a brown blazer over a white button shirt and wore a black skirt. Junko, shut the hell up, let me talk to your sister. The girl smiled as she pushes Naruto to the glass box. Come on, and do me in front of the brat. She said, hiking up her skirt and started to unbutton Naruto's pants. Junko, stop doing that. Oh, like you're any better. Sorry, Mukuro, Naruto said before. Bonk. Naruto-kun, are you in here? Kotonoha-chan. Soon a young woman entered the room. She has dark violet eyes and the similar color continues into her dark silky straight hair that floats down almost all the way past her hips. More than just a beautiful face, her body is very pale, slender and matured for her age. One of her most significant physical features is her extremely busty chest. She wore a high school outfit with some tears and dirt on it due to being used for such long periods of time. Her skirt was green and plaid as it also had tears on it. Oh, Junko-san. No, the girl said, pulling the hair to remove it with ease, showing it was a wig. Her hair was now short and black. It's me, Mukuro. Mukuro's eyes are less round, more slanted than most of the girls Naruto met, and are also naturally blue. Her bust is also much smaller, as she took off some pads, has short, layered, bobbed black hair and freckles across the bridge of her nose. She has an odd wolf tattoo on her right hand. The young woman smiled before giving a more lovingly look to Naruto. My love, she said, quickly walking to Naruto to lay her softly on his chest. Koto-chan, Naruto said as he rubbed her back. You feeling alright? Hi. Mukuro looked to her blonde charge. I as well, sir. Good to hear, my little wolf. Naruto smiled. So, you ready for today? I don't know. Mukuro looked at her wig. I don't think I can't. We can't survive out there. Mu-chan, Junko isn't here, Naruto said, lifting her chin to meet his eyes. And you can survive it. Are you sure? I'm positive. We're all getting out of here. Can I still keep the wig? Mukuro softly said as Naruto gave an uneasy look before nodding. Yeah, Naruto-kun, Kotonoha murmured. Yeah. Just, for reassurance, can you do me? Naruto's eyes became soft as he held her in his arms. You don't have to have with me to make me stay, I will never betray you. But I want to, because I love you. Naruto nodded before kissing her. I'm sorry, after the plan I'll try to please you then. Can you wait, my Harem? Hi. Kotonoha nodded. The lone male smiled, as he looked the girls. When we leave, make sure to get Alma first before anything else. Orders recognize. Mukuro nodded before moaning at the gentle hand caressing her cheek. That's my sweet little wolf, he said tenderly as Kotonoha looked over Alma. We'll stay here to monitor her, the young woman said as she took a seat to watch over the glass box. Naruto smiled as he left the room to go to his room. Now to check on the maids, he said, walking the hallway to look outside of the glass windows. I will give them happiness. The black-haired boy looked down. Over the months that passed, Naruto learned that the girls were broken, severely broken. Nearly all were shattered in their minds. Like Mukuro, she believes that she is her deceased sister Junko and can't face reality that she is dead. Thankfully, over the time he has been stuck in the female wards, he has helped them. Some still have their problems to a minor extent, but at least they return to somewhat normality. But it's not enough, he said, looking at the outside. He will make them better or die trying. Line break. Naruto sat down in the rec room with a heavy sigh. I need something to calm my nerves. Ask and you shall receive. A soft and regal voice said as a teacup was placed in front of Naruto. Daniela. He looked up to see the blue dress wearing woman. As usual, she had empty look in her face that held her pale rose-colored eyes. Anything else? Master. She said stoically. She pale rose-colored hair that had a twin-tailed drill style. She also wore a light lavender lipstick, and also her hands were full of cuts and scars. Naruto cupped her face to make her lean forward to capture her lips. No, my lovely maid. Are you sure? She asked stoically but now had a small smile. Yes, Daniela, I'm sure. Any sweets, my lord? Another maid appeared. She had blue hair that's braided into twin ponytails that fell to her waist, resting in front of her, wearing the traditional outfit, and she had glasses on as well as her deep azure-colored eyes cut through the glass to reach Naruto's cerulean eyes, though one lens was cracked. I'm not hungry today, Roberta. Oh, then perhaps, you are hungry for me? Roberta asked, lifting her skirt up as Naruto had to control himself with his urges. Not today, girls. I just need to know that if you're ready for the plan. He said as Roberta's glasses were covered by light's reflection and Daniela's face become emotionless once more. Of course, but are you sure it will work? Roberta asked. It has to. This is our only chance to get out of this hellhole. Naruto said. Understood, master. Daniela said as her eyes widened when noticing her reflection on a teapot. The woman started slowly raising her voice in horror. Shit. Naruto cried as he threw the pot away as it shattered on the ground. Donnie, you're not a monster. He said, grabbing her shoulders. You're not a doll. But, it's okay. I'm right here. I'm not complete, she said softly before returning to her stoic feature. I'm sorry, that wasn't good, was it, master? Naruto gave a soft smile. It's fine, you're only human. He then softly kissed her. It's okay. Roberta just grabs the woman's arm kindly. Excuse us, master. I need to have Daniela rest up if we're going to do this. Yes, Naruto said softly with a sad look as Daniela and Roberta left the room. Great. So much for calming my nerves, he sighed. Line break. The young man entered his room noticing Dante was gone. He pouted that his teacher wasn't here. Where did she go all of a sudden? She was just here in bed. Before he can say anything, he felt someone hug him from behind. Who? Looking for me? Dante giggled. There you are. Where were ya? Naruto chuckled. Can't I surprise my lover? No, I was just worried for my lovingly teacher. Naruto said as he captures Dante's lips in a passionate kiss, pushing her to a wall. Oh my, daring are we? Dante painted. Damn straight, I can't hold back anymore. He said, trying to take off his pants. Whoa, easy, big boy. Dante chuckled, holding his hands. We have all the time in the world after the plan. Sorry, it's just. Naruto trailed off. Dante smiled sweetly before pushing Naruto as she took the kiss this time. She moaned loudly to her lover. Their tongues continued to play dominance as they hotly made out. She moaned sensually. Stop, Dante said, breaking the kiss. Sorry, Naruto panted. Like I said, I can't hold back. I'm sorry, Dante said, kissing him softly, but I want it too, but our plan is nearly here, another time. She sadly said as she made a hand lead downward and cupped it, big as usual. I should go see the others before I hinder our plans, Naruto groaned before standing up. I'm going to take you after we leave. I look forward to it. Dante grinned with a sultry smile. Line break. The black-haired teen entered the camera room to watch as the staff was doing the usual routine. Fools think that their chakra barrier is perfect. Well, the joke will be on you, dumbasses. He rubbed his fingers through his hair and noticed a few white locks in his hand. Damn, either the drugs are taking their toll or the stress is, he said before smirking. Doesn't matter, I'll be rid of those two for a long time. Oh, our little brother is here, Alicia. A calm voice stated as another spoke quickly. He seems rather happy, doesn't he, Beth? He sure does. Shall we greet him? Naruto chuckled as he turned. I already see and hear you. 30 seconds. A new record. Alicia commented. She was a young woman with blonde hair that fell to her waist and the bangs of her hair covered half of her forehead, and were evenly segmented. Getting better. Beth said with a soft gaze towards her little brother. We're ready to leave when you give the call. Naruto took a look at Beth and was never going to get used to the fact that she and Alicia were so perfectly similar. Voice, looks, and mannerisms are nearly down to the point that if he didn't know them from their intimate nights, he wouldn't be able to tell which is which. We're ready to do anything for little brother. Alicia said softly, gazing lustfully at Naruto. Oh, why don't I join in on the fun? Another voice cooed. Approaching them was a fairly tall and beautiful woman. She is slender yet voluptuous in build, and has a pale complexion. She has narrow mauve eyes and long black wavy hair reaching her lower back with short bangs parting at the center of her face while curving to the right and partially hiding her left eye. She wears a form-fitting black dress with a low backside and no straps, black high-heel boots, and elegant black gloves with red lines running up the length to end with circles. Lust. Not now. Beth sighed softly. We don't want you to molest our brother, again. And why not? She pouted as she approached them. Because it's our turn, Alicia said, showing nothing in her voice but hate was in her tone. Indeed, you always touch him in the showers or during meals. Beth said, copying her sister's face with little to no facial movement. I do not. Lust pouted. Actually, Naruto cleared his throat. You kinda do. When do I do this? Last night, and pretty much months before that. Naruto said with a blush. So no more. You're on time out. Alicia stomped her foot. I don't think so, Lust said as she lifted her hand. I still got the advantage of range. TCH, Alicia and Beth clicked their tongues. Okay girls, as much as you want to get at each other's throats, now is not the time. Naruto said, I have to check on the other girls, so I'll see you later. He said, before leaving them. Look what you did. The three women yelled at each other. Line break. Naruto walked until he reached the library wing. Alright, got to check the map one more time. He announced, looking for the book he need, but it wasn't at its usual spot. Did someone take it? Looking for this? A new female voice asked. Naruto turned around to see a long purple-haired girl wearing a black dress, almost looking like a nun's dress, but without the headdress. Her red eyes that had small tint green to it look at him almost in a daze fashion. Fujino, what are you doing with that? Naruto asked warily. I planned a better course to Uzu. Fujino said dazedly. We don't have to spend too much time outside. Amazing. The black-haired boy started but stopped when noticing red marks on the edges of the paper. What's this? He said, feeling the stickiness. Blood. Fujino looked at her hands and noticed she was bleeding. Oh, I guess I cut myself when measuring the distance with that metal instrument. Fujino. Naruto frowned. What? It's not like I'm trying to commit suicide. Fujino said. But you know to bandage it. He said, walking to her. My god, it's pints worth. He then ripped his sleeve to bandage her hands. You really need to stop doing that. He's right, you know, a voice said. Naruto and Fujino turned to see a 25 years old, with blonde hair and brown skin that's inherited from foreign blood. Her deep cobalt-colored eyes look lustfully and in adoration to Naruto. Her hair is all messy, maybe due to the way it was maintained, as if it was a cheap wig for a play. If it were seen from the back, it would be like a lion full of mane. The pitch black clothing has frills all over the edges, it's completely of a gothic style. However, the fabric of the dress is tattered all over the place, and the lace is slightly yellowish. Hey Sherry, Naruto greeted. My muse, she said longingly, handsome as ever. Making good art, I hope. Naruto asked sweetly. Yes, but let me see Fujino. The dark-haired woman takes the hand of the younger female. What did you use? A knife. Paper. Fujino answered. Well, that's not good, Sherry frowned. I can't feel, Fujino said as Sherry took out some gauze and wrapped around the fingers slowly. You need to take care of yourself more, Sherry said. Right, she said as looking at her bandaged hand. Now can I have the map back please? Naruto doing a give it here hand gesture. Fine, Fujino pouted before giving the said map to him. Thank you, now I gotta check on the others girls, he said, before turning around to leave. Sherry, make sure she tries not to cut herself again. Yes, my muse, Sherry said. Line break. Naruto walked down the hallway as he studied the map. He needed to consult the other girls about said map, just one more time to be sure. After all, he couldn't be too careful. He continued walking until he arrived at a large study room. Ago Kachin, Ran Mao, Sarah's. Where are ya? Naruto called out. My sweet boy, a woman with black long hair said tenderly holding Naruto softly. She had long black hair, pale white skin and black eyes. She is perpetually dressed in a blue kimono with a pink top. The dark-haired boy sighed fondly as the woman kissed his forehead. Mother, Hagoromo Gitsune, the woman Naruto saw his mother, and lover. How have you been my son? Hagoromo asked sweetly. I'm fine. Where are Sarah's and Ran Mao? He asked. They're in the training room. Why do you ask? Naruto nodded as he felt Hagoromo letting him go, something wrong. Noticing his loving mother's gaze as she licked her lips. Oh nothing, Hagoromo smiled sweetly. Just saying that it's nothing means there's something. Naruto's sweat dropped. You fufufu, nothing gets by you, does it? She giggled. Not when it comes to my mother, Naruto said sweetly as blushed at his words. What are you thinking Okawa-chan? Well, with that map you're holding, I'm guessing you're ready for the plan. She said. Yes, nearly all the girls are ready. Are you ready, mother? The male said as the woman suddenly kissed him on the lips. You know me better than the rest, next to Dante that is. She smiled. I can't help if my mother is a cradle robber, he whispered huskily to his woman. Ooh, you want to finally screw your mommy now? She cooed. So much, he purred softly. Then let's do it, big boy. I want to so bad, but not now, he said before reluctantly stepping back. Please understand, he said softly with a slightly scared look. The woman only smiled kindly before hugging him once more. Of course, dear. I'll wait. Thank you. And when we do, I'd like to do it with Kotonoha-chan too. Gah. Naruto fought the urge to nosebleed. Why not? It sounds fun. And don't get me started when I did it with Nina one time. She smiled seductively. Gush. Asterisk. That was the sound of victory when Naruto's nose finally bled out in perversion. Oh oi, Ka-chan. He sputtered out. A mother must always keep her child loved even it means sharing him in bed. The gorgeous woman whispered. Now go to your pets, they're waiting for you. She said, softly pushing Naruto to room he needs to go. And don't forget that if you want some milk, I can still produce as much as you want. Oh oi, Ka-chan, Naruto blushed before quickly leaving. Line break. Naruto smiled perversely as he smelled female pheromones enter his nose. While it was musky, he felt excited at the thought of who were waiting for him. Ran Mao, Sarah's, where are you? He chuckled perversely. Over here, master. A sweet, kind voice said as Naruto went to a corner to smile at the sight of a blonde beauty. Sarah's an attractive young woman with blonde hair cut into a flare cut and blue eyes. She has a fairly broad-shouldered torso, yet maintained a very voluptuous and buxom figure, which was further accentuated by the fact that she is considerably shorter than virtually all of her allies. She wore a yellow uniform with a matching mini skirt, long white stockings, ankle-fold brown boots, and brown gloves. Hey there, Sarah's. Naruto smirked before walking up to kiss her sweetly. How's my girl doing? Gee good, how's my little brother? She said, blushing brightly as she squeaked when Naruto licked off a bead of sweat off the top of her cleavage. MMH. Just great, Nei-san. Where's Ranmao? Right here. Gah. Naruto freaked out, seeing a black-haired girl with blue eyes staring at him. Stop being a ninja. She has large, golden eyes and jet black hair with thick, square bangs. Her hair is arranged in long braids and cat ear-like buns, accompanied by a pink rose and a golden tassel on the left bun. She wears a short, black and lavender cheongsam that is decorated with dark pink petals, and a blue jacket over it. Additionally, she dresses in thigh-high tights, black ballet shoes, and gold anklets with bells. Touch, she said when she straddled him. Oi, Ranmao. Silence, Ranmao said. Do me. Where has my obedient cat gone? Naruto stroking her back as the girl sighed softly at the contact. Purr. The young woman growled out in peace. There's my kitty cat, he chuckled. So, you two ready for the plan? Yes, Alice is done with my weaponry, so ready here. Sarah said with a serious nod. Fine, Ranmao said as Naruto continued the patting. What about Harleen and Talia? I don't know about Harleen-sensei, but Talia came through with our suppliers. Dante also has the stuff for you and her techniques. Sarah said. Cleaning supplies, the quiet girl murmured. Good. Naruto smiled, as he knew the girls didn't appreciate the power he learned from Dante. Everyone is ready, Naruto said. He noticed the sun was now at highest. Let's do this. Line break. Naruto entered the security room as all of the women were waiting for him. Alright, it's time, Alice. The video loops are almost ready, the pink-haired woman said with a wink. Too bad they never thought to get upgrades, this is easy for a genius like me. Naruto smiled as he looked at the others. Remember, this a breakout, we aren't going to spend any more time than what we need to. He said sternly as the girls nodded and agreed. Dante, are you ready? Naruto, I still say that one of us could, she started as Naruto shook his head. They won't come for you, but if it's me, they may let the door open. He said as the scientist looked conflicted. It's for our future. Naruto, look Dante, you were the first person to ever make me feel loved. I want to repay that to you. The woman looked shocked before nodding. Alright, just don't hate me for this, she said, clapping her hands as electricity generated around her. Okay. You get 5 minutes before you flatline, Dante said as she places her hands to Naruto as lightning coursed through him. Gah hhh. He cried out, trying his best not to scream as he fell to his knees. Can't be breathe. Sorry, but it's the only way. Dante said, although was close to crying. Alice trembled slightly before tapping the keyboard. The loop is almost ready. When I say go, Margaret, rush him to the vault. I don't know about this. The gothic girl said as she looks at Naruto, who was slowly breathing in pain. Don't worry, just follow the plan, Dante said as the countdown began. 3, 2, 1, go. The girl grabbed him before vanishing, as Alice held on to a cross. God, don't take him from me. 5, 4, 3, 2, she counted as Margaret reappeared with a tired gasp. Ha! Can't do that again for a while, she said before looking at Alice as she nodded. Killing the loop, she said as the camera showing the vault had Naruto twitching on the floor while foaming from the mouth. Damn it, open up. Soon everyone's eyes widened in horror save for Dante as Naruto stopped moving and lay on the floor with dead eyes staring into nothing. 5 minutes, Dante said as she counted down. Please work. It's not working, we need to go now. Kotonoha said in fear, he's going to die. It takes 3 minutes to open it, how much time Dante? Alice asked as she never felt time move so slowly before. 4 minutes and 10 seconds, she replied as lust glared at Dante. He's going to be dead before they open here. Screw the plan and get to him now. She ordered, grabbing the scientist off her feet. Wait. Look. Nina pointed to the screen. The group looked at the screen as the door was now opening. Dante. Alice screamed. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. She said as she looked at Nina. Get ready. Dante ordered before turning to Margaret. One more jump, can you do it? The blonde nodded. Anything for Naruto. She said, grabbing Dante's wrist. Now, Alice said before resuming the loop as she stood up when Margaret and Dante vanished. Girls, get the weapons. Line break. Naruto twitched uncontrollably as he saw the doctors and hired muscles entering the room. Well, I looks like I owe Harleen 50 Ryo after all. She was really telling the truth that you were alive. Fu, CK. Yo, you. Naruto gasped out as he felt himself slipping from the world. Gah. Hold on, Naruto. Dante's voice said as clapping sound was heard before lightning was crackling before. www. Naruto comically twitched as he coughed out a black cloud. Note to self, won't do that again. Idiot. Dante shouted, hugging him tightly. Never again. The teen smiled before looking at the vault. Where's the rest? Margaret spoke before slightly coughing. Their cough getting their weapons. Nina is coming to take down the power and barriers now. Naruto said, standing up with some slight difficulty. The boy however continues to move until he reaches to Margaret to hold onto her shoulders. Why, you okay? Just a bit out of shape. The gothic girl said before giving a wry smile. Just glad you're fine, she started while leaning, pursing her lips as Naruto leaned into almost reaching each other. Oni-sama. Nina cried, tackling Naruto who couldn't react in time, thus leading him to fall on the ground with Nina on top of him. Your little Imouto is glad that you are so fine. Nina. Please later. Naruto said sternly as the girl nodded, standing up as the room lights turned red and the windows started to have metal blinds as the red-haired girl smirked. Took them long enough, she said as Naruto noticed she was wearing a new outfit. It was pink jumpsuit that split into 3 vertical lines of color. The left and right sides, including her arms, were a dark pink color with the middle section that focus on her body. Her shoulders, hands, and collar were gray metal plates. On her back was a backpack that had 2 engines, shaped and curved like shells, and it has vents that are closed. Ready? Not yet. We have to wait for the barrier to get up, Naruto said as he saw the blinds to outside where a light blue barrier was forming. Do it. Nina smiled as she did a series of hand signs. Okay, hidden ninjutsu, chakra particle emission. Nina whispered as the backpack glowed red as it opened up holes where red shiny particles coming from it as the lights and machines started to shut down around them. Nina closed her eyes as she slowly ascended to the air with her arms spreading out. Amazing. Dante smiled darkly as the girl descended down. Your chakra and the machine, Alice made as the perfect communications, radar, and electrical shutdown system. He. Nina smiled, giving a peace sign before smiling sultry at Naruto. All for my Oni-sama. Remember, after this in the nearest village, you're taking me like a beast. Naruto smiled as he nodded. Don't forget you ask for it. Nina hummed perversely as she blushed brightly, before Dante coughed. As much as I would like Naruto taking you here, and believe me I do, but we have to leave. The scientist screamed as Naruto nodded. Let's go. The group follows Dante as they went through the vault with ease. Okay, we need to get the stuff for Nina and the other certificates of sanity. Naruto said as they made a sharp left turn. Why? Nina asked in confusion. I'm fine not having money, as long we have something soft beneath us, hot nights, and your big D. It's for our home. If we need to make our dream true, we need all the money. Naruto said, pointing to Dante's satchel around her waist and Nena's machine. Those things are made with scrap and miscellaneous things. It's a goddamn miracle they're working. Dante can use those stuff due to her and mine abilities, but they're one-shots. We need more materials. Margaret looked back at her leader when reaching a corner of a hallway. I agree, while I like sleeping and being Naruto, we should think hold on. Margaret before taking out two scythes that were golden bladed and had golden wing guard on the bottom with a black rectangular box sticking out in the middle of the shaft. Hup. The girl said roll as she laid the ground quickly using the winged end of the scythe and place her finger on a trigger, as loud noise came out. Bang, bang, Reaper, Reaper, that's what people call me, Margaret sung softly as she turned to the group. They're dead. Naruto, again, amazing idea to use those old powder substances as some kind of igniting agent for those, what did Mukuro call them? Bullets. Dante said as the dark-haired kid nodded. We'll discuss in length later, Naruto promised as he looked at Nina and Margaret, you two kill some of the staff, we got to make sure no one knows our faces. Got it. Nina winked as Margaret nodded with the two running off to the opposite hallway as Naruto looked at his lover. Shall we? The woman smiled nodding as they ran to the head director's office, the boy smiled as he saw the door completely locked and barricaded. Dante? Naruto asked as the woman smiled as she clapped her hands and placed it in front of the door. With a smile she chuckled, looks like I'm going to need a bit more sulfur. Dante quickly pulled out some bottle of yellowish liquid as she claps again and suddenly the door exploded. HMPH. Nice, the boy said kissing Dante's cheek sweetly as he entered the room. Okay, here they are. Naruto said opening a desk's drawer to see some certificates. Alright, Nina Trinity, Alicia and Beth, Kodonoha Katsura, Shenhua, Fujino, Naruto mumbled as he wrote the name in before grabbing a folder to neatly put them in. Alright with this, we can leave, let's meet up with the girls. Right. The scientist said following Naruto as they saw Mukuro and Fujino standing in front of them. Whoa, where did you two come from? Basement. Mukuro and Fujino said blankly as Dante gave a deadpan look. We need to teach you two sarcasm. Mukuro looked at Naruto with soft eyes. Sir, the staff has nearly been killed off, Alma has been secured and now we're waiting for further orders. Naruto walked to Mukuro kissing her softly before breaking it off leaving her in a deep daze. Good girl, listen take these keys and let the male inmates run wild. W.Y. Fujino said for once surprised in a comically fashion. I think it's because if there's a chance of Konoha Anbu coming here, we'll get more of a head start and less likely to get captured. Hagoromo said entering the conversation as she flicked some blood off her hand. Exactly. Dante pointed out, it will also cause them longer to find them therefore us. Alright Fujino-san follow me. Mukuro order as the purple-haired girl nodded. The young man rushed as he reached a door. Hold on Dante, I need to get someone. Who? She asked pointing to the entrance. Everyone is back there. Just wait. Naruto yelled as he kicked down the door. Where is she? Quickly he checks the room to see another door that says, electroshock therapy, there. Bam. Asterisk. Harleen. Naruto shouted bursting into the room. MMMH. Naruto eyes turned into narrow slits as he saw a blonde girl strapped on a table with a dazed look just staring into nothingness. The hell happened to her? Dante asked entering the room before Naruto gently held Harleen's shoulders. Harleen, can you hear me? It's me Naruto. Naru, she started before falling asleep. No, is she? Naruto gasped as he felt Harleen body going limp. The scientist leaned in and placed two fingers on the side of Harleen's neck and smile. She's fine, just knocked out, but I fear that she has some brain damage. Well get her out of there. We got to leave before Nena's jutsu wears off. Naruto said as Dante took off the straps and she placed Harleen on his back. Come on we're going to where the other girls are. Alright. Dante agreed as she followed her young lover as they passed through bodies as she stopped. Dante, what's wrong? We have to keep moving. Naruto urged. Go on ahead, I have an idea. What? Naruto said confused. Now not the time to do your alchemy, we have to. Just trust me on this one. Please. Quote. Be back ASAP. Naruto said before leaving to the location he was needed at. Dante only smiled darkly as she gained a dark glint in her eyes. Now, time to make a scientific study. Line break. Naruto-kun, where's Dante-san? Kotonoha asked. She said she was going to do something. Where's Alma? Naruto asked as Alice walked forward holding a giant tube. As that. Alma still needs to adjust to the outside. I made this tube to fix it. A few days and she can move on her 2 feet without fear of catching a cold that could kill her. The pink-haired inventor said with a smile. Nice work. Naruto grinned. Alright, let's all get out. Dante should be done with whatever she's doing now. Oh, you won't be going anywhere. A familiar voice said. Naruto looked towards the voice and growled, seeing the very same female doctor that tortured him for 2 years. I'll admit your attempt to fool the cameras and us were creative, but not clever enough. Tsukihime, Naruto growled. It appears I have no choice but to terminate all of you. Tsukihime said. You've been thorns on our side for the last time. Eat this, bitch. Nina shouted, aiming her backpack's vents at her. The young doctor said before flipping a switch as Naruto fell to his knees, feeling his legs turning numb. I planted a seal on you, to make sure you wouldn't escape. Naruto cried in pain, as he couldn't move. You bitch. Roberta yelled, pulling a crossbow in front of the woman. Release it and I might give you a swift kill. Now why would I do that? Tsukihime asked as she held another switch, pressing it and all the girls fell to their knees. You all won't be escaping either. When did? Alicia and Beth said as they fell on top of each other. Damn it. Lust screamed as she fell on her rear, unable to get back up. She cheated. Fujino gritted. Did you all really think you could outsmart me? Tsukihime laughed. I already knew what you were planning. I knew this would happen, so I made precautions, and wouldn't you know it, you actually tried to escape. Oh really? Dante said, walking forward. I doubt that. Why let us roar like that since we took over the female wards? What? Tsukihime turned around and was surprised that Dante was still walking. You? How did? I found that little seal and burned it off. Dante said, pulling the collar slightly down to show some skin that was red. Was little concerned when I saw some of the staff bodies and inmates having similar tattoos, so, what are you going to do now? TCH, Tsukihime growled, but then smirked. Not to worry, I always have a contingency for everything. The staff is dead, the inmates are running loose, and you have nothing on me. Dante concluded, pointing a finger lazily at the woman. You have 0 effect on me. HMPH, is that what you think? Tsukihime said before she pulled out a gun from out of nowhere. Bang. Asterisk. Dante smiled as she raised her hands. That was too close. She said, as the bullet was nothing but dust. Bang. 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 Asterisk. Again the bullets were turned to dust. Dante just clapped her hands, before touching the wall as a stone wall appeared before her. Alchemy versus everything else. Chalk it up to alchemy. With a single clap, Dante forcefully placed her hands on the stone wall as hundreds of stone daggers pierced through the doctor. Thud. Asterisk. And the doctor fell dead. Dan, Tay, Naruto got out. Hold on, she said before clapping. I'm transmuting the inks to be absorbed as elements. A few minutes and everyone was able to move again. Alright, time to go. Naruto said before Dante shook her head. Wait, I have an idea. She said before turning to a corner. MHHHHHH. She grunted as she pulled out. Kya. Nina screamed girlishly when seeing a huge mass of flesh-y conjoined humans. Disgusting, Shenhua said in disdain. Gonna barf. Sarah said comically, holding her hands over her mouth. What the Dante? Naruto muttered in surprise while feeling disturbed. What? She said before an arm touched her leg before cruelly stepping on it. Back off. Ew. 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 Alicia cried out. How is that going to help my son? Hagoromo said, astonished rather than horrified. I need some blood from all of you. Dante explained before pointing to the blob. I can use my alchemy to do some human transmutation and rewrite some of the DNA on it to match ours, even if it's only a little bit. Making clones of ourselves? Margaret asked. Not exactly, I'm just making sure that this is going to be spread out before we leave, Dante said, pointing at Mukuro's explosives. Well, if it's going to work, then might as well. Naruto shrugged. Gross, Nina cried before biting her cheek and spitting on her hand. Here, she said. Dante swabbed it up. Thank you. Everyone else, Dante said. The girls and Naruto were squeamish but nonetheless complied, and Dante got each of the blood samples. Good, now, let's have some fun, then we can get out of here. She smiled eerily. Mukuro, the explosives, Dante said as she finished her task. Line break. The group walked after hours since they left as Naruto turned back to smile at the explosion of the insane asylum. Finally, we can leave this place of a nightmare, Dante said. We're finally free. So, where are we going? Nina asked. Most of us can't go to any places with shinobi villages since nearly all of us are wanted by one major village. We'll find an uninhabited island, Naruto answered. And where's that? The red-haired girl said as Fujino walked besides her, pointing forward. We go for another day or two to the water country, then we catch a boat and it should be a half day to reach. Fujino stopped, smiling softly. What? Nina said with a pout. What is it? What's next? Uzu, Naruto said with a sad smile. We're going to make our own country. Naruto sighed as he waited outside as he saw Sarah's walking out from a store. Oh, done? He asked as they walked down the street. He looked at her large raincoat that covered her body and bountiful chest. She nodded, smiling down, looking at Naruto wearing a black cap, a black coat, white cravat, white gloves, dark-colored pants, and dark-colored boots. Successfully covering any trace of his looks well unless standing in front of him. Sure, besides I know you hate shopping. I don't hate it, I just hate that I can't enter the stores, he said softly, placing his hands on his pockets. Sarah's frowned sadly, knowing that they are in the fire country still. They couldn't allow Naruto and some of the girls, who were locked up by the fire country samurai or shinobi, go to stores or cities due to their bounties. I know, here. She grabbed a small cookie to give to Naruto. I know the sugar cookies are your favorite. Naruto smiled as he noticed that the morning had barely no one. His hand moved towards Sarah's. Kya, she moaned, squeaked as she felt Naruto rubbing her. And Naruto, no. We're supposed to act like siblings, she sighed, panting heavily. Sorry, Oni-san, he winked, stopping his actions as they continued to head into an inn. Sarah's. Thanks for coming with me. I know we didn't need to go get food. The blonde, spiky-haired girl chuckled sheepishly. Hey. I didn't want my brother to be stuck all day. Yes. Hopefully Alice and Dante are finished with Alma's condition. They should be done soon, Naruto said, looking at his watch. So, anything else we need before we head back? Nothing else, unless you know how to make jewels. The older woman joked as she and Naruto walked up to their room. Oh ha, very funny. Naruto rolled his eyes playfully before inserting the card key into the lock before lifting up again, and he pushed the door knob down before pushing the door itself open before they went in and closed the door. But, speaking of sugar, he said before suddenly kissing Sarah's. I want some of yours. The cookies can wait later. And Naruto, the woman moaned as he started unzipping her raincoat. And Naruto, come on, you know you want to. It's been forever since we did this, Naruto muttered huskily, taking off her clothes one by one. The blonde sighed as he stopped and looked to the side, and threw one of the cookies he had at it, hitting an invisible object. Margaret, Naruto said with a displeased tone, mostly for the mood being ruined. How did you know it was me? I can sense you, besides I know you like to watch me sleep when I have company or not, Naruto said as he saw the woman appeared almost like a mirage. Oh poo. Come on, it's Sarah's turn with me. Maybe you should take some time off. You have been taking Nina and the others ever since we stopped here. The blonde-haired woman suggested as she wanted to wait for Naruto in her first time to be more special. Oh, quiet you. Naruto rolled his eyes again. How much longer should we stay here though? The gothic dress woman said with a sigh, I'd rather not be in the country that has my bounty with the word dead only on it. Just long enough for Alma to awaken, right? Nina appeared entering the room, while earning a small blush from Sarah's due to her lack of clothing, which was none. What is this? Pop out of nowhere. Naruto sighed. Nah, been here trying to walk after you me so hard that I nearly saw God. She purred, hugging him from being and rub her cheek on his. Figures. Naruto's sweat dropped. Now come on, how about you girls head to the onsen and have fun while Sarah's and I mingle? Oh no, you don't, young man. A dark-haired woman said, grabbing Naruto's collar. You didn't tell Okawa-sama that you were going out today. Guys, help. The black and white-haired teen asked comically as the woman lifted him up, making Naruto unable to touch the ground. Come on girls, help me out here. Sorry, even I rather not piss off Gitsune. Nina said with a cheeky smile, just on her S and bend her over Oni-chan. Forgive me, but I as well agree with Nina-san. Sarah said with a mock prayer, Gomen, master. I have to do some doll shopping. Margaret stated, vanishing as Naruto was hugged by his pseudo-mother. I'm sorry, he said apologetically as the woman hooked her index finger to make him look at her. No need. Okawa-san was worried. Are you thirsty? She asked with a naughty smile on her slightly blushing face. Yeah, I am. Naruto nodded with half-lit eyes as he saw Gitsune proceeded to take her already loose top and expose her top to Naruto. Her bright red cherry-colored nipples hardened in the cold air as they started to create a white milky substance from the tip. Drink your mother's milk, she said, holding Naruto tenderly as she moved his head near her left. Itadakimasu, Naruto said before gently ing on her like a baby. Ah, iwa, more, Gitsune moaned. They taste good, Naruto muffled out. Pushing her down, the woman's arms were above her head, enjoying the sensation and wonderful taboo feeling of her son you ally feline her needs. Yes, make mommy feel good. She moaned softly, something that Naruto can only hear. Stopping his ing and drinking the delicious nectar that was in his mouth, the teen went to his mother's other nippled ing on it before giving it a little nibble. His mouth just continued to move in and out, ing every bit of the milk he loved and then some. Almost, the woman said, her usual regal and calm demeanor slowly crumbled away into a lewd and hot expression as her orgasm was slowly reaching its limit. You're about to come? Naruto asked. Looking down with a motherly smile, she petted his head, which turned both of them on greatly. Hi, she said, softly kissing his forehead. Many women do experience very intense pleasure when ling is happening. Then I should finish you off, Naruto said as he now pressed both of her nipples together and ed on both of them. Naruto. You aren't. Gitsune started but silently moaned as she felt both her nipples were gently being chewed and hard on. Wawuto. She moaned out erotically as she nearly lost it right there. Come on, Ka-san. Come for me, he whined. She shook her head as she tried to last a bit longer, knowing that her son shouldn't see her disgusting orgasm expression, no matter how much she wanted to, and also ride him until her stomach was bloated with his child and semen. Drink, honey. Don't worry about Okawa-san, she moaned out, desperately trying to hold out before reaching her climax. Come on, Ka-san, please, he begged. Gitsune blushed before realizing her mistake. She lost control and it arched her back as the dark-haired goddess clenched her teeth before limply laying on the bed. Naruto pouted. Again she suppressed it. You didn't come, Naruto pouted. I did, just didn't want you to see Okawa-san's dirty face. She sighed as she enjoyed Naruto ling her s again, a feeling a mother could only enjoy. Ah, Naruto. The blonde didn't hear it as he was too engrossed in his meal as he felt his mother's hand on his head. Time's up, sweetie. Next time you can have more, she said sweetly as Naruto let go with great reluctance as the woman slipped back her top. Besides, you can have my moist panties if you get excited, later tonight. He pouted. Promise. Then show mommy how her baby promises. She smirked as she closed her eyes, waiting for her son to seal the deal. Naruto leans in to kiss his mother, sadly a peck, but enough as felt a wet and warm feeling on his hand. He blushed as he saw dark blue panties on his hands. Thank you, he thanked meekly as the woman tenderly touched his hands. Naruto. Sorry, I want to speak to you. The boy turned to see his teacher, Dante, walking up before giving a deep stare to Gitsune, Ago. The woman, still hugging Naruto, glared at the teacher. Make sure you don't overstep your relationship, sensei, the mother of Naruto warned as she kissed his temple, setting him next to her. I am his only mother. Of course, Dante said. Naruto smiled as he saw his lover sitting next to him with a blush on her face. Reminds me of how you took my first time. He started out as his hand snake around her waist. Really? My memory is a bit fuzzy. Dante teased. His grin grew larger as his hand cupped her bountiful, feeling the fleshy orb as he smirked. I was still recovering my shock even after a few weeks passed. You took care of me. Later, you took advantage of me and I loved every second of it, he whispered to her ear gently before licking her earlobe, making the alchemist moan and shudder at his touch. Ah, does this mean, why you want me to take advantage of you now? She asked. Yes. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you. Naruto whispered huskily. Moaning at his hands now openly groping both as she leaned back. Ah, I couldn't help it, I love young boys. Especially blondes. Then what's stopping you? Alma is almost finished. And, she gasped as Naruto ripped a small hole in her dress over her crotch as she gasped as his finger traced over her panty-clad maidenhood. Enough of that for now, what do you want me to do to you? The alchemist couldn't but blush, remembering how she made Naruto into such a fiend for and spoke softly. Make me, come, I want your fingers. Then let's reenact our first time. The two spent that time in each other's arms to reaffirm their love, not that they needed it. XXXXXXXXXXX. Konoha. XXXXXXXXXX. I'm going out. Minato winced as his daughter Yuna left rudely and slammed the door for the house to quake from her wrath. Nothing has been the same since his son's death, he heard the news from Itachi. The Hokage wasn't pleased with the news, but hearing the Uchiha heir nearly breaking down in tears for his mistake allowed Minato to think more rationally and only pull Itachi from the Anbu ops as the mistake was getting into his head. That was probably the only good thing from this. His family and close friends of Minato allow Itachi to take time off to gain his composure back. And he did refocus his efforts to train his brother Sasuke and also Minato's daughter as he hastened to teaching them. Although from his reports it seems neither sister wanted to learn anything from the man who killed their brother. They went to individual teachers to hone their skills, so they at least weren't slacking off. But that led to another sad truth that he believed that they hated their older brother, but it was from the truth. They loved him, but when they heard him hating shinobi, the girls tried to distance themselves from him, thinking that they would take the pain faster by making Naruto hate them before joining the academy. But it was a mistake as they spent months crying over his death until they decided to find him, unlikely as that is, when they become genin. Lord Hokage, a young Tenten who was taking over the role of secretary with her teammates. There's a man here to see you. Says it's about the crooked insane asylum. It wasn't surprising. Minato just recently learned that a building housed the most insane and dangerous criminals that weren't shinobi-based. Normal for shinobis, they would be categorized into the bingo books, especially rouge or missing ninjas, but for civilians they had to either be executed or placed in confinement. The place was nearly destroyed, but many Anbu from all nations had checked in the area, with Minato's and the fire daimyo permission, to learn many of the people had indeed died. Send him in, Minato asked as he saw a blond man entering the room. He had blonde hair extending to his upper back, which he keeps in a ponytail with golden irises, wearing glasses, having defined cheekbones, and a beard, which connected his hair with his sideburns. And you are. My name is Hohenheim von Light, or Hohenheim of Light if you prefer. The older gentleman said with a slight bow of his head. I am deeply sorry for taking your time, sir, but I am a traveling alchemist with my sons accompanying me. I have some news that might be terrible for you and me. And what kind of news might that be? Minato inquired. The older man, as a shinobi, Minato had a decent edge knowing all the traps and hidden weaponry that he kept in the cause of surprise attacks. I believe those who died in the asylum nearby are alive. The aging man said, taking out a photo of what looks like a younger version of himself and a beautiful woman wearing a black blouse and maroon skirt. They were smiling, holding a large trophy of some kind. I believe my former partner and old friend Dante is alive. Minato narrowed his eyes at the older man in suspicion. Do you have any proof of your claim? I don't, and I understand why you are suspicious of me. Hohenheim said with a chuckle. May I explain why she is there? You haven't heard. Minato again eyed the traveling alchemist. He showed no signs of lying as far as he knows. Leaning back in his seat, he bridged his hands together. Go on. First, what do you know about alchemy? The man asked the Hokage, who shrugged. Namely, that you can use magic and science to recreate the world. The older blonde man chuckled with a sweat drop on the back of his head. More or less, but it's only what we can do is what we can make with it. May I? He said, pointing to a small book at the Hokage's desk. Be my guest. He gestured his hand to said book, which happened to be a book by his old sensei, Ichi Paradise. Hey, I got the same one. The scientist chuckled before clapping his hands, and soon before Minato was reading a new book, before taking a look, and the contents were the same. I just used the ink and cover to simply hide the cover away. Alchemy is the art of comprehension, deconstruction, and reconstruction. The man said before clapping once more, as the book returned to normal. If memory serves, you alchemists also follow the law of equivalent exchange, do you not? Yes, it's the whole concept of alchemy. You can't make anything without using something. Wood for wood, metal for metal, otherwise it's not science. The aging alchemist stated, I was a young man and I had a knack for this. I can remember any formula from the gate, from my learning material to clapping with my hands. Many cannot do this, but one did, my old friend Dante. The man softly said, remembering the old days when they were kids. And what does this Dante have to do with any of this? Minato inquired. We were alchemists for the state. It would mean that we're jonin in a way in our military force. As state alchemists, we had a duty to fight for our country and use alchemy to give people a better life. I was the crystal alchemist and Dante, the blood alchemist, for her use of medical alchemy. We did a lot of good throughout our years in the state, finding more use in medical alchemy that saved lives. I can imagine something happened and went south. Minato mused. Hohenheim shook his head. No, I actually left. I fell in love on my last tour of duty near the countryside and hung up my state alchemist title. Dante stayed and was betrayed by another colleague when they needed her to continue her work. And she felt all her misery was because of you. No, she was happy, albeit sad that I left. We were like siblings, but her new partner Sho Tucker used her research and slept with her to gain her trust. After presenting the work as his own, she lost it and killed him and many other alchemists back in our nation. Hohenheim said with a pale look, they said that it took my son's friends, Alex and Roy, to stop her without killing her. And send her to a mental institution to get her help, but we both know where that is now, right? Minato could piece together himself. No doubt someone wanted her in that crooked place to get money from the state to help Dante. So why do you think she is alive? I believe it's because of this. The man grabbed a suitcase that Minato never saw in the first place, to pull out a detached arm. He did not mean squeamish at the sight, but he raised an eyebrow. Alchemy has two laws to abide by. All alchemists never make gold, and never perform human transmutation. It's almost akin to spitting at God in the face, although many alchemists don't believe in him. Either way, most end up dead or worse. This arm was made from alchemy. Here's the thing, it has Uzumaki DNA. He said, pointing to the fingers, look, it has female and male fingers. I suspect that she used basic alchemy to conjoin the staff and used her blood and your son's as a way to hide their escape. The Hokage stood up. Are you sure? I can only speculate, but it does have Dante's work. I know she could do this, as she might have used her medical alchemy to figure out a way without harming herself when using human transmutation. Minato narrowed his eyes at the detached arm. If his son truly was alive, then, Izumi, Kotetsu, have the Anbu search the entire village. Search every house, leave no stone unturned. It won't work, the alchemist sighed. Knowing Dante, she would not stay in the Fire Nation for long, and if your son is still sane after his stay, then what do you purpose we do? The Hokage stated as the scientist took a deep breath. For now, I pray that we can find your son before something bad happens. XXXXXXXXXXX. Ah. Naruto sighed into his bed as on his side was both Dante and Margaret, both sweaty and barely catching their breath. Sorry I had to call you Mar, he said, turning his head to the pale beauty before capturing her lips in a heated and deep kiss. Breaking it, he then turned to Dante to repeat the process with hers. It's fine. Breathe out the blonde woman as she licks her lips from watching two kiss lewdly near her. She would touch herself. If the fact she was too tired to do it, I know you need at least 2 girls to finish, and it was a good time to remind Dante who took your first time. Well, it doesn't matter as I get laid the most. Dante shot back with a smirk, making Margaret turn her head away. Now girls, Naruto said before looking at the ceiling, it doesn't matter, I love you all equally. Those words usually could be nothing less than a Casanova empty lie, but from their young lover it meant true honesty. Dante cuddled into his body before realizing something. Alice told me something. She calculated the time for Harley and Alma to recover. She also stated it would be impossible to stay here longer than we should. Naruto nodded. Out of all the women, Alice is the smartest member of this group. Dante and Naruto are scientists and alchemists with perfect memory of all things in their field, while Alice surpasses them. Mathematics, machinery, physics, anything remotely knowledge she has under her belt to keep. Usually the planner of the group, as she can accurately determine each action they take with a pretty good percentage for different scenarios. We might have to crash in the land of waves sooner than we thought to escape this territory in the fire country. Margaret said, reapply her black lipstick as most of it was decorated by Naruto's now softened member. What? He likes seeing lipstick rings on his D. I have someone, Naruto announced as he looked at a letter nearby on nightstand. He has a home to let us stay until we get to the land of Uzu. Who? Dante inquired, knowing that outside the girls in Naruto's little harem had no idea on who it was. I wasn't the only male member in that hellhole. Before being shipped to you, I plan an escape with someone. I had to stay behind to make sure he got out, and he still owe me one. He started softly remembering that night. Kiyohime really did a number on his mind, shoveling a drug into his throat. I only knew a few famous ones. They are mostly males with powers like us. Margaret started pointed at herself, then Dante. We're more village problems as they are prone to flying off the handle than us. Granted, we were messed up in the head, we were stable enough for them not to call the government to put us down. The Gothic woman said, finishing her makeup, as it was a close truth. The only reason they had the female wards to themselves was the fact even if they escaped without any of the documents Naruto took, they would still be listed as psychotic people. Thus be readmitted to another asylum, although maybe one that works. But with their unique powers, it was more likely they would have ordered to die. Well, my friend just wanted to live a peaceful life. Naruto chuckled, taking out a tie from the letter, smiling the odd design on it. XXXXXXXXXXX. Play JoJo Bizarre Adventure. Killer Ost. Somewhere in the land of waves. XXXXXXXXXXX. A blonde gentleman wearing a light purple suit, holding the reins of a horse-drawn carriage. As I said, the land of waves used to be thriving before Goto, or whatever his name was, came here. I didn't think much of it as none of his goons dare approach me when most of them vanished, after failing to intimidate me. He said, totally neutral and even like the whole situation didn't faze him. But even though I used to own this land before I was sent away, it seems that old man Tazuna did a good job keeping the peace. He turned his head to see a hand touching his leg gently. He gave a frown out of slight confusion. Hey, where is that watch I got you? I imported it from the land of steel. Nothing but the sound of hooves clapping on the road and wheels on the carriage was heard before he nodded. Ah, sorry, in the back with your stuff. Indeed, it was big, so I'll adjust it tomorrow. He gave a stern tug on the ropes he held, making the horses stop as they arrived. He got off and undid the horses' restraint. Go to the barn, he ordered, and like magic they indeed went towards the place he asked them to. He gave an apologetic smile back to his friend. Ah, sorry, they shouldn't be the first thing I talk to. He went to the other side of the vehicle to grab the hand, only the hand. As in nothing else, but a female woman's hand cut off before the elbow would meet, the end of the appendage drip a single drop of blood, causing the man to sigh. Ah, he breathed out a disappointed tone. Taking out a fancy handkerchief, he made the hand grip it. Look what you did, not nice when I took the time to get you here. Please help me clean it up. After using his hand to help the dismembered one, he spoke. Naruto was a real friend to send me your hand, Kiyohime. Oh, how I long to feel your perfect skin and well-managed digits on my own hands. Well, we have time to have fun until my old friend comes to crash here. So what's your best dish to cook? I'm particularly fine with anything. As he trailed off, the screen soon focused on the man's home plaque that said only his family name.